I'm Andy Chanley from 88.5 FM. Welcome to our Here at Home teleconference interview series. Today joining us is Matthew Caws of Not a Surf. Welcome, Matthew.
Hey, Andy, how are you? Good to see
Doing
you.
well. Good to see you again. Matthew, you joined us from England, is that right?
Yes, Cambridge.
Cambridge, which is north of London, right? Like 50, 60
Mm,
miles?
That's right, Northeast. It's 50 minutes on the fast train and an hour and a half on the slow train.
It's one of the pharmaceutical capitals of the world, I believe.
It is.
So thank heavens for
Multiple people on my street work for pharmaceuticals. That's right.
thank heavens for Cambridge right now.
Yeah.
The current album is Never Not Together. Came out just like 3 months ago, and it's absolutely great. You've heard several singles on 88.5 FM from it. Something I Should Know, So Much Love, Live, Learn, and Forget. LA loves Not a Surf, it turns out, Matthew.
We love it there. I'm glad they do. If they do, yeah. We've made a couple of records in LA and spent a lot of time there, and we made Let Go there and The Proximity Effect, both in Venice Beach. And like all major cities in the States, we've been back there at least every year or two, so feel like we have some history there. So if people like us there, I'm very grateful.
It's mutual. I want to get back to the Let Go album in just a little bit, but you came in for a session January 21st, and a couple of things about that kind of seem funny to me now. One was I was just getting over a cold, and I was mostly over it, but I like to be respectful for the fact that people like you make your living being in control of your upper respiratory tract. So I made a point of bumping elbows with you instead of shaking hands.
I remember.
It just occurred to me, 7 weeks later, it became common cold became the least of our communicable disease worries.
Right. What a prescient move on your part.
Ahead of my time. The other thing that was interesting about it is the name of your album, the name you chose, which I think was prescient on your part, Never Not Together. Does that feel like prophecy for what's going on in your house right now?
Yeah, accidentally, for sure. I mean, that's one of the things I think that we're all going through now is that, we have this constant level of anxiety, ideally low level of anxiety, sometimes high, about what's going on. But remember that before this, there was a certain level of anxiety already that we'd been having for 3 years for an obvious reason. And before that, there was anxiety about other things, and climate change has been making us anxious for a long time. And our sort of social news bubble division has been making us anxious. Now we're anxious about this. So unfortunately, even though it seems like a lot of the themes on the record are now very apropos, they have been for a long time.
Tell me about this time for you.
That's the most bummer answer. I'm so sorry.
No. It's right on.
Yeah.
And to that atmosphere that you described, the potential exists for this to be a watershed time for you to sit down, undistracted and just write and play and so forth. But it also has the potential to be, a paralyzing, cloistering environment. Which of those has been closer to true for you?
Well, I'm happy to say that it's not the latter, and I'm sorry to say that it's not the former either. I have not been wildly productive, although I've been playing a lot of guitar, and that's felt good. But it's been hard to feel like where my head is at and what I feel like saying to myself even. I really dove into family life. When this tour was over, it was pretty clear that I was probably at some risk for having the virus. So I went into seclusion for a couple of weeks in a rented house here before going home. And as it turns out, I did have it in the most super mild and lucky way, which is just that I lost my sense of smell for a week.
Wow.
Now is a tell, but and that seems so benign. But anyway, so when I came home, we just stayed we spent all our time together. I spent all my time with my wife and my toddler. So but we've started to transition into trying to get stuff done. So I'm up here in my studio for a few hours every day, and I've done a few little live stream things and benefit shows that I tape and send off, and yeah, tinkering, puttering, but it's coming. I feel like being creative, and I feel really torn. I've said this in interviews before during this period that um, so many people are vulnerable right now, and it's such a terrible time. But then also, it's kind of peaceful here at home, and I'm trying to enjoy that as much as I allow myself to, um, and and also just get it where you can find it, and if you're having a quiet moment, enjoy that, because life isn't ever this quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something.
I've found myself, and I think many, and we won't dwell on it, but many people, I think, have felt this at one time or another. Gosh, I wish I could just get it and get it over with. And I feel like after that, if I had the coronavirus, then I'd feel like I had a little tiny superpower and could move about with impunity.
Yeah.
Do you have any of that feeling?
Well, no, frustratingly, I don't, because currently in the UK, no antibody tests are being given.
Uh,
So, at least that last I checked, which was a few days ago, it's on my, I've written it down to check again to see if things have changed. But I wish I could, because I feel like I could get out and help, but because I can't be positive that I had it, we still have to operate as if I hadn't.
right.
Yeah.
Speaking of what you just said a little bit ago, you've done some live stream events and so forth. I believe, if I got this right, it was probably a couple months ago. Saw you. I think you were in your kitchen just playing your guitar, walking around doing it on your Instagram feed or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's interesting and helpful, I think, how much people are enjoying these things. It's any port in the storm perhaps, but to get an interesting new look at artists that people admire, and to get just to know that everybody's in the same thing together, not in the same boat maybe, but at least in the same ocean.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it's like it's become more valuable and more necessary. And if you think about before, when we were all spending so much time on our phones, um, mostly for fun. I mean, maybe it's for a career reason too, or maybe that's your gig, or maybe you're a comedian, and comedians seem to be working out material online a lot, and that's amazing. But it all seemed to be voluntary. I mean, like an elective.
Mhm.
Now it is the only portal. So now it's somehow more justified, the time that you spend hunched over staring into your common screen. Like, it's serving more of a purpose than before. So that's kind of beautiful. And the fact that we're able to communicate so much, where before, what was the best thing about it? Well, you keep track of friends having kids, you keep track of their birthdays, just big life changes. And now it's like keeping track of them, and getting that uh, that sense of community, and that love that we need to survive. We need to feel like we're part of something. And I feel really lucky to be here with my little family, but I really feel like for single people, um, and for seniors on their own, I mean, this is just like lifeblood.
Yeah.
Really, really meaningful.
Yeah. With the family thing, I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and if this were normal circumstances, I would see them in the morning, I would drop them off at school,
Yeah.
and then see them hours later, and we'd have a couple hours before dinner and bedtime, and that's it every day except for the weekends. But this, I see plenty of them now, and they're around all the time. That has to be a real, like you say, a silver lining to this, because you get to see. I don't know, how old is your child again?
He's about to be 3.
about to be 3.
Yeah.
Benchmarks, these touchstone moments that you very likely would have, to make a living, been out around the world and perhaps missed some of these things. It has to be a real blessing.
It is a real blessing, but I feel sensitive about it, because I have friends I've seen say things online where like, I don't want to hear you go on about what a wonderful opportunity this is to slow down and have a great time, etc. I have a lot of luck guilt, so I feel like tempering keeping my extra the extra positive side of his experience. I'm trying to keep it under wraps a little bit, just
Yeah.
out of respect. This is such a trying time for so many people. It's just horrible,
It
and
it's true. I remember
my heart goes out to them.
when my son was newborn, and different friends who had children at the same time, they were talking about, oh, we just haven't had any sleep. Meanwhile, our kid from like 4 months on slept 12 hours a night in his own crib, and
Mhm.
it was great. So we'd get together with them, and they're like, oh God, I can't sleep. And we're like, yeah, we know what you mean. It's horrible, because you don't want to be that
Yeah,
person that everybody.
man. I appreciate you saying that, because I am in your friends category, the low sleep household. So
Yeah. Well, there you go. Welcome to it.
thank you
um
so much.
You brought up the Let Go album at the beginning, when we first started talking, that you made it out here in Southern California. The first time that you meet an artist that you admire, it's best not to puke on their shoes with praise and adulation. But since we talked a few months ago, we're fast friends now. But I just wanted to give credit to you for people that haven't delved into Not a Surf yet. I think you're one of the best lyricists working right now. The turn of phrase that you're able to put into such word economy, like on that album. Blizzard of '77. I think of some of these lines all the time. Like every time my kid catches a ladybug, I know I have got a negative edge. That's why I sharpen all the others a lot. It's like flowers or ladybugs, pretty weeds or red beetles with dots. Now I heard that. I was at the stoplight, it turned green, and I sat there kind of stunned at what a picture that drew in such few words. And that kind of speaks to these times, the choice to be happy. You have a choice to look at life one way or the other, half full, half empty. And just wondering, when you write lyrics, do you pour over them like a haiku until all of the syllables are right, or does it just kind of tumble out and it comes from something a little further upstairs?
Well, it's both. They tumble out, and then I pour over them. They
Rewrite and rewrite.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely do a lot of tightening up and really consider. I write a lot of stuff that never gets off the paper. Um, like a lot of people, I do a lot of unconscious writing. I'll just come up with some chords I like and start making sounds, and sometimes words will come out, and sometimes they're okay, and a lot of times they're totally meaningless. And then I'll try and figure out what my subconscious was trying to say. But anyway, thank you so much. That's that's very kind. It's funny to hear them back, because that theme of wanting to sharpen other parts of myself because being negative, and what you were saying about the choice to be happy and the choice to smile, that's really where I spend most of my time these days, is thinking about self-control and willpower. And I always have, but now it feels like the final frontier in a way. Um, if you ever figure your life out, like right now, I'm in a pretty good place compared to a very good place compared to where I was 10, 20, 30 years ago. I'm in a happy situation. I'm in a stable situation, and what's left is what's inside,
Hmm.
and how to be in control of that, and how to not spin off into negative thoughts, and how to remain grateful, and remain constructive and positive. And it's like it's not easy finding those handles
Hmm.
where you can move stuff around, and it Anyway, I'm thinking about that a lot. I'm kind of rambling right now. Sorry
Yeah,
about
no, it's exactly true, and it's something that rules my life. And I'm middle-aged, and I think about my dad and some of the things that I want to emulate, and some of the things I don't. It felt like he, for a large part of his later life, woke up every morning looking for a fight. I'm going to go to the store, and stuff's going to be from China, and somebody's going to hit me with
that.
their
Right.
cart. You can do that, or you can be my mom, who gets up every morning, and you're like, "How are you doing, Mom?" "Just great." She chose to be
Yeah.
happy, and it really sometimes isn't. It's like a fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. And sometimes, and this also maybe is a product of us being as a people kind of spoiled in that we're not out there hunting and gathering every day, or a lot of us aren't. And most of us know where we're sleeping that night, so we're not out looking for shelter. So we, in this really privileged place where you get to kind of have a life of the mind, and it's just unreal how hard some of those tiny changes can be, just that little decision, which when you're a kid is like, okay, I know I have to be up for school, but I'm reading this book, so one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter, and that's kind of like the benign version. But when you're older, the version of like, absorb your annoyance at that person who's got a personal habit that bugs you, so that you don't snap at them, because then you're making them feel worse, and then they're going to resent you more, and your life's going to become more complicated. So you need to just being zen. I know it's an overused word, but it's
Yeah,
it's worth it,
yeah.
and it's hard. And
Like,
yeah.
it's like Bob Seger said, "What to leave in, what to leave out." It's the struggle every single
Did
day.
he? What song is that?
Against the wind, right?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
What to leave in, what to leave out. Just love it.
that is there's a friend of mine, who lives in Charlottesville, has a fantastic podcast called The Well of Sound.
Hmm.
And there's a Bob Seger episode that is fantastic.
Oh, I bet. I love it. I'd
He
eat
used
that
to
up.
call he used to call his voice the mountain, apparently. And like he was on someone's session and he's singing a little bit with two other people on the mic and singing some backing vocals, and somebody and the producer's like, "Hey, Bob, you could sing a little louder. Why don't you give him more energy?" And Bob's like, "Oh, you want the mountain?" And then brings that thing, like this super powerhouse. It's great. Anyway, The Well of Sound, if you're looking for a
Well,
music focused podcast, it's excellent.
I'd love to. I could get lost in just that Against the Wind. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's
Uh,
great.
it's really good stuff. So last question for you, and the most important, what is the best meal that you've cooked there in the house under quarantine?
Man, I'm so embarrassed to tell you that I am making bread. It's
Brett?
like so many people are doing it. I was like, maybe the term would be like sour bro. Right. And I don't know if to spell it with a GH or not. Anyway, I'm really into bread and butter. Just unbelievable. Good butter, good bread. But my wife just made pasta that was half real and half zucchini with Japanese breadcrumbs and garlic, and one other element I can't remember, just yesterday, and that was incredible.
Zoodles. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, certainly wish you all the best. Can't wait until all this stuff is blown over and you can come out and visit us in LA again, spend some more time with us. But congratulations on the album. Again, if you don't own this, go out and get Never Not Together. It's available now, and it's excellent. Thanks for this time together. I enjoy our talks.
Thanks so much. I enjoyed it too, and I hope I'll see you soon when we're on the other side.
Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Caws of Not a Surf here on 88.5 FM.